Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, and I am here with,
Trishula Tuvalu Television TV.
and what'd you play and what'd you place?
I played Dragon Link, unsurprisingly. I finished in the top 8 of the YCS remote duel.
Alright, and you want to do any shoutouts before we hop in?
Absolutely. Huge shout outs, of course, to the Foundation and Prestige, especially Darren, who I built the deck with, as well as Landon, who played our deck as well. I think we were all maybe like one or two cards off from each other. But unfortunately, they didn't make the top cut, but I managed to squeeze it out for us. So at least one of us topped. On Prestige, huge shout outs to Wesley for bringing me cards because right before this event, I found out that I could not find my Dragon Link deck anywhere. It just vanished. So I was scrambling like the day before to get cards. So one of my friends drove down all the way from Wisconsin. It was like a 4-hour drive to bring me a Dragon Link core. Also, huge shout outs to Joe Dietrich for lending me the other half of the Dragon Link deck. I had to go grab that from him. Shout outs Joe. Also, shout outs Joe for cooking me on the feature match, round 7. Also, huge shout outs, of course, to myself and my Twitch community. All the love from those guys, all the support. We have a lot of fun over there. If you're interested in some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Dueling type content, you know how we get. We're a master duelist now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And yeah, and of course, shout outs to you for having me on the channel again. Been a
Hey,
long time.
thank you, thank you.
Too much of a master duelist now, bro. I'm not on the channel anymore.
But you ready to hop in?
Absolutely. So, I'll start with the defensive cards we played. So we played kind of a big hand trap lineup. We played 3 Ash, 3 Valor, 3 Nib, and 3 Imperm. We wanted to play a lot of hand traps for this event because the idea is we kind of wanted to play like somewhat like bestial control, where the idea was just we're just going to make a seals and then have our defensive cards in our hand rather than on the field, because people are going to side in stuff like Feather Duster and Lightning Storm, evenly matched, those kind of cards. So we didn't want to like set those cards, and we didn't want board breakers in our main deck because we just want to prevent the boards rather than stop them. So that was the defensive cards. Valor, surprisingly very good. I was a doubter on this card. Like I was a hater, but this card was actually really insane for me. Like this card won me so many games. I played 3
Oh, also,
Lubellion.
can you turn the cards around?
Oh yeah.
You're good on the hand traps, yeah,
Yeah. Here. I'll start over this for you.
yeah.
I'll
But
do it like this. Here, 3 Lubellion, 3 Magma. Here, I'll just take my deck upside down. 3 Magma, 2 Sarnir, and Juris Baldrake. I think this ratio is pretty good. Not really too much to say about it. I think it's pretty standard. I think you can bump Sarnir up to 3. I never wanted more of it. I sided out a lot, so I think this is fine. You could probably go with less. So that was these are like kind of defensive cards too. So like there's a lot of hand traps in this deck. Then for the starters, we played a higher starter count. So keeping in line with the idea, we wanted to play a little bit more similar to bestial control in some regards. We played 3 safer, 1 black metal, or 3 black metal, and 1 red MD. These are really good. So this playing this package pushed our deck count up to 46. Where I think you can get away with 43. I think somewhere between 43 and 45 is about standard for Dragon Link, because you play a lot of garnets that you don't really want to draw. So playing the higher deck count is nice, and having the extra starters to make the math work out nicely was really good. Also, if you open these together, you can just go insanely plus, which is crazy. And having this in your deck for Nibiru, because some people just nib the seals for some reason. I don't know why they do that. But having this in your deck for that just lets you go nuts if they play like that. So really glad I played those. They're really strong for me. For the Rockets, I played only 2 Tracer, Recharger, and Absolrator, no Caliber. I didn't really miss Caliber. I think these are the only ones that you really need to play. I think there might have been a line for me in my top 8 game that I lost in the finals. There might have been a line if I had Caliber in my deck? I don't think there was, though. I'm pretty sure I was just losing. So these are all very good for us. I don't really think the Caliber was necessary. And some people are like, oh, well, you need the Caliber to play around targeting effects like Book of Moon or Imperm or whatever. As long as you have the Recharger, you can still do that. And sometimes because people do play the Caliber, sometimes people fear the Tracer anyway. Like if I've already been through this Recharger, I'm pretty sure my top 16 opponent was scared off of like imperming anything that I had because I had a Tracer, even though I had no legal target. But he didn't know that, so it just let me push a little bit further than I maybe should have if he knew my deck list. Then, of course, for the one-ofs, we play the two babies. I feel really weird because in Master Duel, these are both at 2, so these are always a +1, but in this game, they're not. And then the one Levy, this card cost me my top 8 match. So when I was discussing our siding patterns with Darren, we were a couple cards off in our side deck. So I think I had asked him what we side out against Cash Terra, and he told me that he had been siding out Levy and Air. But he was answering that for when we go second, not for when we go first. So I sided this out when I went first against the homie Bill Way, and I 100% had the game locked down, but only if I had the Levianeer. So the game state was like he had like 2 Cash Terras on field plus the Rise Heart, and then he went Battle Phase. I had a negated Seals. I went Seals Tribute itself to try and get into make a bad situation maybe better. I got Ash, so it didn't matter. But my thought process was basically like, okay, I can't tribute my Druis because if I tribute Druis, then I lose the Seals. I get no follow up, and I don't have the Levy to search. If I had the Levy, I 100% just send my Druis, get rid of his level 4, search this, and he would have passed on Birth plus a Rise Heart, no cards in hand. And then I just summon this, pop both of those, and I had Tracer, and I had Tracer Boot Sector, and I drew Daruma Cannon, I think. So, I guess that's a spoiler. I sided Daruma Cannon, by the way. So it would have been unlocked, but I lost because I sided that out. So don't side this card out. For the spells, I played 3 Chaos Space, 3 Quick Launch, Boot, Ravine, Regained, and Beast. This is all pretty standard. Nothing really to talk about there. For the side, do you want to do side or extra first?
Let's do extra.
Sure, let's do the extra. For the extra, the synchros, we played Baron, Savage, Chaos Angel, Dispotter. Baron, I think I made it once. I don't make this card too much. I think a lot of people kind of misplay sometimes with this deck by overcommitting into the Baron when they shouldn't. I think I literally only made this game when my opponent had no other cards. I think it was against Bill actually, just to close out a game. Chaos Angel, I didn't make it as much as I probably should have. I'm gonna credit that to me being a master duelist, and then Dispotter, this card's nuts. This card's crazy. 2 Link 1, Striker, Pisty, again, Master Duel moment. This is at 3 in Master Duel, so it feels weird playing with it at 1. Romulus is... It's Romulus, it searches Ravine. 1 Seals, so this is where my list starts to get interesting now. I played 1 Seals. I think a lot of people are playing 2 Seals, maybe because they don't manage their resources very well in Dragon Link. I don't think the second Seals should ever come up. Anytime that I wanted to make a second Seals and I was in that type of a game state, I just put it back with Regained or Chaos Space. I never wanted to hard make a second Seals. It never came up. And then, so because I didn't play the second Seals, I had space to play a fun little package of Quadboral Delindrus. These didn't come up too much either. I think they would have come up maybe about the same amount as the second Seals, but I will say the Delindrus won me my top 16. I only made it twice, and I won both times I made it. I made it once because I was basically just flexing on the guy. I think I ended Seals, Borland, Axis Coded Savage or something and attacked him. And for the top 16 match, though, this card was really, really helpful because my hand was one, like, I was trying to set up like Seals, Beast, etc. But there was no way for me to get to the Lubellion without pitching it off of Dragon Ravine, and I could tell that he had a Bestial based on how he was like reacting. So I knew I needed to threaten him, so I was able to go Seal, or I was able to go like Romulus, Striker, Pisty, and then summon something back. Make the Delindrous, go into Seals using the Delindrous, and then summon the Tracer pop, get the Recharger, trigger the Delindrous, and he was forced to banish that out because otherwise I make Borland, which he definitely couldn't deal with. And if he didn't have the bestial that he obviously did, it would have been even crazier. It would have been like Seals, Borland, Dispotter, like Beast, etc. Like I would have had everything. So he got rid of this, which was fine. So that allowed me to end on Seals, Savage, Beast very safely. So really glad that I played this for that. I would have lost otherwise, because he would have just Magnum hit my Lubellion, and I would have just passed on Seals, nothing else. The quad roll is also nice too because you can combo with it under the Link 2s, because sometimes you're missing that extra arrow because of the one striker. Dark Charmer, Unicorn, Triple Burst, Access Code, Borland is the rest of the extra deck. Not too much to say. This card's really good. It searches Levy. This card spins cards. This card, some people don't think you need to play this card. I don't know if that's still a thing in the TCG where people don't play this anymore, but like I know Master Duel players still don't understand that you need this. So I'll just mention it that this card is necessary for combos. Access Code. I didn't make this actually as much as I thought I would. And then Borland. Then for the side deck, we sided 3 Droll, 2 Bell, 3 Thrust. So the Thrust, so I spoiled the Daruma earlier, so I guess I'll talk about it right now. Is the 3 Thrust plus Daruma is something that we thought of like at the last minute. I think the French national champion from last year who got second, I think he played this. And the idea for this is that if you get shifted in your standby phase, like normally they're supposed to do it in your standby phase, but sometimes they wait for the normal summon. But if they do it in the standby phase, normally you can't do anything because your talents won't be live. So if you set the Daruma cannon, you can just pass because it's a Book of Eclipse, and you can safely play through just about anything they do. And you can then play on the crackback once you're out of the shifter range. And they're not going to be able to shifter you again because the shifter's in their graveyard. So this was really, really strong for me. I used it to beat one of my cash opponents. And unfortunately, I drew the Thrust against Bill in game 3, but he didn't shifter me, so it didn't come up. But this was really strong. This was really good. I really liked having it because I didn't really fear shifter if I saw this card, which I think is something that you really need in the Cash Terror matchup. For the rest of the Thrust targets, we played 1 Duster, 1 Talents, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Herald of the Abyss. Herald of the Abyss was kind of an interesting addition. We didn't really like Dark Ruler. I kind of wanted to play Dark Ruler, but the thought process in our test group was Dark Ruler was kind of mid overall. Like it didn't feel like it was doing enough because we aren't really making Borland as much as we used to. So, and like the boards aren't bigger. Like they're not, like people don't vomit their entire hand on their field anymore. So it felt kind of bad to go like Dark Ruler into a board that was like maybe 1 or 2 monsters. Also against Kashtira, they are playing Lance again, so that didn't feel good. So just having Herald of the Abyss to force the opponent to send their Arise Heart, because you can do that under macro for some reason, is really, really nice. So you can just get that off the field. It also comes up against Pearly if I played against that, which I did not. And then the last 2 cards on my side, which I believe were the difference between me and Darren, were the 2 Cosmic Cyclones. I think he played Scarlight and a 3rd Bell. I wanted to play 2 Cosmic because I wanted to respect the Runic decks. And also, I felt like you can side this in against Kashtira when you go first. Because if you're only siding these 4, you only have a 37% chance to draw one of these side deck cards in a 46 card deck. If you add these 2, it goes up to I think 51%. And into Shifter, I think setting a Cosmic, it's not as good as setting Daruma Cannon, but if you can set a Cosmic and maybe stop their field spell, maybe they'll just pass. Maybe if you stop the Birth, you're not getting full comboed. Which I think is when you're already under Shifter, you're in such a bad game state. Like, I wanted a little bit of extra help in that situation. So I put those in. I didn't play against any Labyrinth, so Bell never came in for me. I don't think I'd cut it though. Yeah, overall the list was really good. Definitely try out the Delindrous stuff. I'm a big hater of Delindrous, especially in Master Duel, but I guess I can't be too mad at it because it did help me top YCS. So
How do you feel about a Tum?
um I think a Tum is good. Yeah, I guess I didn't mention this. I cut a Tomb as well because I feel like it doesn't come up very often. I think the only times where a Tomb comes up is when you go second and you brick on like 5 bestials. But we're not like, if you count the bestials, like let me, how many was it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 10 with the 3 Lubellion, if you count those. I feel like you're only ever making a Tomb when you have 2 bestials on the field, and I tend to side out 1 or 2 of the bestials as well, like post game 1. So I felt like that situation wasn't coming up very often. There was never a point where I wanted to overlay for it, and I think it just walks into a lot of disruption. Like, I would honestly rather make a Romulus or something half the time, or a Dark Charmer, just something that can get value out of like the Brave trigger effects of some of the bestials, rather than just like overlaying them into a Tomb. Maybe if I was playing Zeus, I would play a Tomb, like maybe cut these 2 for a Tomb Zeus. That's an idea. I don't know though, like it, like, for I guess an anecdote is when I played against Will Candia in top 32. We played a very similar list. I think the main deck difference was that he was on Talons instead of Valor. But he just made an Tomb on his first turn, and I Valored him, and he was so far behind at that point. It was just like, he went neg 1 into a Valor, and then he could have instead made extra bodies, like extra link material, and maybe could have gone somewhere further if he hadn't overlaid for a Tomb.
Mm-hmm. Also, just wondering, since you said that you had like a testing group for Dragon Link, did you guys try the Super Heavy Samurai Dragon Link deck?
So we didn't really consider that, but I have kind of like tested it because I think I had a Metaphy student ask me about it. I don't think the Super Heavy Samurai cards are necessary for Dragon Link. It reminds me a lot of like the Gabriel Nets, like Kashtira Dragon Link stuff, where it's like, if you draw these cards, you can combo with them, and like they kind of get you into Dragon combo if you don't get uninterrupted. But the problem with them is, like, if you get stopped on those cards, they didn't really contribute much. And you're adding like 20 engine cards to your deck rather than like 20 defensive cards. And you don't really need the extra 20 engine cards. It just feels like you're making your deck less consistent, because if you don't see those cards on turn 1 exactly, they're all bricks because you play spell and trap cards. So like, if you don't start with them, they don't contribute much. And I didn't really like that about them. I honestly think the Kashtira Dragon Link was like the better funny 60 card Dragon Link pile. But usually if I'm gonna play Dragon at like 60 cards, it's usually because I want to fit like more hand traps and stuff in the deck. Like it's usually like it's a 40 card Dragon Link deck and then 20 hand traps, rather than like it's a 40 card Dragon Link deck and then a 20 plus card engine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I was just wondering your thoughts on it, because we never got to see the Super Heavy Samurai Dragon Link decks from the I forget which nationals it was, but they ended up topping that one. So I was just wondering if you guys had tried it. But
Yeah.
and any final words you want to say before we head out?
Yeah. I guess drop me a follow on Twitch if you're interested in Master Duel or Dragon Link. Definitely join my Discord if you're interested in Dragon Link stuff, because I'm very active on my own Discord. So like if you have questions about this deck, like I'm always happy to answer people. It's a really nice community over there. So, and there's a lot of like smart people. Also, I guess one final shout out to my Twitch mod. Now that I'm on the subject, Tempest. He played in his first IRL event. Or well, I guess kind of IRL. He never played the TCG before. He also played Dragons, and he lost on the bubble, I think round 8 or 9. But I was really proud of him. I trained him well.
But all right. With all that being said, the DB Grinder and Trish signing off. Peace.